The Omicron variant of COVID has now been identified in at least 6 states, and the latest numbers suggest the variant spreads easier than the Delta variant, which was once the most contagious version of the virus. Joining me now with the latest on the variant is Dr. Frita Fisher. She's the founder and president of Midtown Atlanta Nephrology. Welcome back to BNC Live, Dr. Frita. We still don't know a lot about this variant, so what can you tell us? Because the one thing that stands out is that Omicron is possibly more transmissible.
Yes, hello, Laverne. It's good to be back. It looks like it's more transmissible, and we are basing our data largely out of what's coming out of South Africa. We know now in many parts, Omicron is actually the dominant variant there. It is the dominant variant. And here we know that in 6 states already in the United States, we have Omicron, and we all knew it from the beginning. All of us physicians, scientists said that Omicron was likely already here. But now we're doing more genetic sequencing, and with these 30 new mutations on the Omicron spike protein, it does look like it's more transmissible, but not necessarily more virulent. It is not necessarily getting people sicker, but it's still too early to know for sure.
Okay, so it's still kind of hard to understand the difference between the Delta variant and the Omicron variant. They both sound awful. Can you compare the two of them and kind of give us an idea of why they're different?
They both are awful. Now, that is the comparison where they are alike. Other than that, you know that we always talk about the spike protein, and the antibodies that our vaccinations help us to produce are made to fight against antibodies. And when we made our original vaccines, they were against the wild type and the alpha type coronavirus, COVID-19. Well, now with those spike proteins, each spike has its own little personality. And we see that with the Omicron variant, there are differences in at least 30 portions of the spike protein. What does that mean? That the antibodies that our current vaccinations were made to prevent infection from may or may not work as well. In fact, they may work a little less. We don't know yet, but they are likely to still give us some protection. And that is why the CDC, the current administration, is encouraging that we get boosters, because the boosters actually spike your antibodies even more than your second dose of a messenger RNA vaccine. And so the more antibodies you have, even from the original vaccines, the better chance you have of being protected against this variant.
Yeah, and that's what we're all concerned about, is protecting ourselves, because it is the holiday season that's underway now. We're being told to get the vaccine. Is there any other way we can protect ourselves from this Omicron variant?
Yes, well, the vaccines are absolutely the best way to protect ourselves, and it's the best way to try to contain this pandemic. But we still want to wear masks, even if you're vaccinated. When you're indoors, especially when you're with people and you're not sure of their vaccine status, if you're immunocompromised, you want to wear masks. You want to try to socially distance when appropriate. This is not the time to be out shoulder to shoulder with no masks on, hanging out with concerts. We thought we were almost there, but we're not. Now that it looks like Omicron is more transmissible, you want to avoid large crowds, especially without masks. And again, you want to get vaccinated and you want to do testing. We have these home tests available now. Certainly, if you're symptomatic, or even if you're hosting a holiday event, you can have as a housewarming gift a test, a rapid antigen test, so that your guests test before they get to your home and then test again once they get there, just to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible.
Wow. Okay. Well, then people are also talking about traveling for the holidays. The CDC is changing COVID-19 testing requirements for international travelers coming to the U.S. The order takes effect on Monday. They say it's strictly out of precaution. Are you recommending that people delay their international travel right now?
Well, I won't delay it. There's nothing we can do that is 100% absolutely safe. So each person is going to have to weigh his or her own risk tolerance. Certainly, traveling right now when there's so much that's unknown about Omicron is perhaps not quite as safe as we thought it was when we thought that we had some kind of a handle and we were just dealing with the Delta variant. But if people choose to travel, I want them to carefully follow CDC guidelines, do the testing as advised, wear masks, and just do the best you can to protect yourselves.
All right, Dr. Frita, thank you so much for that great advice. We appreciate you joining us. Have a great weekend.